My unit, salute! Welcome to the Amped Up Show, Friday, the 18th of April for the year 2025. Which means, as it stands, we are one day away from WrestleMania 41. BC's got you covered with all the latest, man. We're going to talk Randy Orton. Recently, from his own words, telling all of us when he's going to find out what he's doing for WrestleMania. Listen, you only got 24 hours left. There's a big show tonight. Friday night Smackdown is what it's being billed as. So what does Orton have planned? Well, if you're Nick Aldis, it's not good. We'll talk about it. We're also going to discuss Charlotte Flair, a quote that she recently said in an interview that really caught on like wildfire. Fans now calling this out, saying that this is exactly why Ashley Flair comes off as tone deaf, because it seems like she's the only person, maybe one of two with Helmsley, that just does not see what is broken with the Charlotte Flair character, the trajectory over the last 10 years, and the lack of connection with the fans. And what Charlotte Flair just said in this interview, and I'm going to give you guys the quote, so you can make the decision on your own. Is this justified that a lot of fans are calling this out? But I'm going to give you the quote. And to BC, yes, it's a lot of the problem with Charlotte. And the fact that she's saying this and doesn't see the problem in it, that's the problem. We'll talk about it. That's what you're getting in the cold open teaser. And stemming off of that story, because it's a connection to Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green recently said something that also caught on like wildfire. A lot of fans going, damn, little bit out of character, or a lot out of character. Chelsea, a heel, rooting for the face, and she tells us why. That's all I'm giving you in the cold open teaser, but it validates a report that came out last week. BC didn't speak too much about it. It was a report about the locker room kind of moving on, the women's roster anyway, moving on from Charlotte Flair behind the scenes, not looking at her as the actual queen of WWE like management always has saw her. So the roster, the women's division is kind of like, nah, she ain't it. But I couldn't get that validated, so we didn't speak too much about it. But what Chelsea Green just said in this interview, that's all the validation we need. It's huge. And it shows you where that women's roster in WWE, their mindset is. And even they see that Charlotte probably shouldn't be in that spot. I'll tell you what Chelsea Green said, and again, you guys can make the decision on your own. Is it justified? And then we'll talk Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I just found out about this literally, but I was probably the last one to find out about it because I was getting all these other stories together. And we had been talking about Hunter Hearst Helmsley completely going off the rails this week. He should be promoting, actually it should be his roster promoting Mania. He should be locked in his office trying to give us the best creative imaginable. But instead, he's doing the most interviews. He's talking the most in all the podcasts, all the talk shows. And for some reason, he's just going on a bash the fans world tour. And he's talking about how, the fans are just complaining and bitching and moaning and they should just watch the show. They're not even real fans, he said. If you don't like what you're watching, you're not even real. He says the real fans are showing up and yeeting and spending the $10,000 a ticket. So he's just been kind of going off, and then he did this weird thing with Peter Rosenberg where most of the interview was just him complaining and bitching himself, the same thing he said other people are doing. He's just talking about how hard his job is. That's all he talks about always, is just how hard everything is. And talking about how having an extra 2 weeks this year for Mania was a bad thing. If you're a creator, isn't an extra 2 weeks a good thing? Unless you don't want to do the job. Or at least not properly. If you don't like what you're doing, if you're not actually creative, then you don't want an extra 2 weeks. He said that was a big problem this year. He had an extra 2 weeks. You already saw Raw go off the air an extra 15 minutes early this week. It's the go-home show to Mania. Wouldn't you want that extra 15 minutes? Maybe put Io, Belair, and Rhea out there? No. He said, let's just get this Raw over with. He wants Mania over with. But it's what he said recently. And I can't believe that I didn't come across this before anybody else, but I did not. He recently, and I believe it was with Peter Rosenberg in, maybe it's a separate interview or maybe it was the same one, but he is telling fans to fuck off. If you're going to critique it and you don't like it, you can F off. Just watch it. Just be a fan. I don't even know where to begin with this. I'm not shocked because this has always been who and what Hunter is. I've told you guys that from the jump. I have never deviated from that, have I? I've probably been the only one at some times that has been trying to tell you guys, this dude, that's his true colors. He told you this 12 years ago when he did that skit in the ring with, oh, me and my friend Mark are going to stop watching if we don't get the wrestlers we want. Or whatever he was saying, right? Just making fun of the fans when we all came together and said, dude, this product is hurting and we want it to be better. And they thought it would be best if Hunter goes in the middle of the ring and makes fun of the fans. Well, here we are 12 years later and he's the guy in charge. Are you truly shocked that he's telling you to screw off and that we're just bitching and moaning tough shit? Are you truly surprised? But in a way, I am kind of stunned how blunt he just told everybody to F off, his own fans during Mania season, because they're critiquing because they don't like Mania season and they're trying to say, dude, can this never happen again, please? Can you please do better next time? That's all fans are saying, and he would tell fans to F off. He said in a most passive-aggressive way, too. He said, I wish, with the cameras rolling, I wish I could tell those fans, those critics to fuck off. You did, buddy. The cameras are rolling. That's what you're doing. You don't wish you could. You literally just said it. We all heard it. It wasn't when the cameras were off. It was part of the thing. You know it was. That was your way. That's what Hunter does. I'm almost, I can't believe I'm saying this as a podcaster, as a host, as BC of all people, but I'm almost at a loss for words that this dude is just going on a bash the fans tour because they didn't like Mania season. And this is what has finally broke the straw that broke the camel's back to show Hunter's true colors. It's everybody stepping up this Mania season and being frustrated. And he doesn't like that, so he's telling you to fuck off. Could you imagine? I'm a huge New York Yankees fan. Do you know what we do when the Yankees go on just 3 games out of 162? 3-game losing streak. Forget about it. Don't go in any New York deli or any Starbucks or any mom and pop coffee shop because we going to be talking about it. We going to be ripping this team. And you know who isn't telling us to fuck off? Aaron Boone, the manager, Brian Cashman, our GM, Steinbrenner, the owner right now. They're not telling us to fuck off. They're going, we hear you. We got you. We're going to make these changes. We're switching this lineup up. We get it. That's what a fan does. A fan critiques their team. I'm a Packer fan. I'm a Yankee fan. I used to watch NASCAR. I was trying to propel, screaming at the TV to get Dale Jr.'s ass to the finish line. This guy had bricks in his car. He just didn't want to win races, unlike his pops. That's what you do as a fan. A fan is passionate. A fan is amplified. A fan is supposed to scream at the TV, maybe throw the TV against the wall when you lose. It's what you do. And when things are amazing, man, there's nothing better, especially with pro wrestling. That's what fans do. Why is WWE immune to this, and why is Hunter Helmsley the only one that cannot be criticized? We're being too mean to Helmsley. It's just too mean. He understands. It's okay. No, it's not. He doesn't understand. It gets worse and worse, this television product. These creative storylines are the anything but creative. The characters are becoming absolutely lost to the point where they're asking journalists, what are we, faces or heels, because they don't know and there's no transparency because Hunter doesn't talk to them. He just gives them Papa H speeches, pats him on the head and says, go off, kid. And now WWE can no longer face criticism. You can no longer say WWE is doing anything bad or else you're not a real fan. In fact, you can fuck off. The chief of content, one of the dudes in charge who we're all supposed to bow down to and honor at the Hall of Fame this week, is telling a massive part of the fan base to fuck off. He says, go watch and be a fan. That's a quote. Go watch and be a fan. Like you're being punished, like you're a toddler. He's treating you like a toddler. Don't say anything unless you're yeeting and giving us your fucking money. It is pathetic. That's what I have to say about it in the cold open, and that's with only a few sips of my coffee in. I'm going to get to that last. I'm going to go over everything else that I just talked about. I'm going to have more coffee, and I'm going to have more to say about this at the end of this amped up show. I assure you, because that's my cold open teaser. That's me being kind of at a loss for words. Hunter Helmsley telling you to fuck off if you don't like Charlotte Flair collecting a 15th title, or if you don't want to see Jey Uso yeeting for 20 minutes with a world championship being the one to defeat Gunther, or if you think that CM Punk, Rollins, and Roman is just a weird, random, lazy triple threat match with nothing on the line but custody of Paul Heyman. It was poorly executed, poorly booked, lazily created, and do better. Io, Bianca, Rhea, 3 more faces all lumped into one triple threat. Do better. If you don't like any of that, or maybe all of that you don't like BC, he's telling you to fuck off. Just praise me and the product is what Helmsley is telling you. I'm at a loss. Even with all that said, I'm trying to comprehend that somebody who runs a conglomerate company, like anybody that would run a team or a big company, can tell its consumer to fuck off when they critique the product, when they try to tell the dude what is working and what is not, or can you at least fix this? And when enough people are saying it's bad, which was what happened. Even people that used to coddle the balls of Helmsley stood up this season, thankfully, thank you guys, by the way, and said, Hunter, I always supported you, but this sucked this season. Please don't do this again. And he turns his back on you and says, fuck off. These are people that supported this guy. And that's how he truly feels about fans. You either coddle his balls or you can fuck off. That is somebody who should not be in a top position of any company. That's the damn truth. We're going to talk more about this. I don't even know if I can't. Aaron Boone for the Yankees, Brian Cashman, or Brian Gutekunst for the Packers, or Matt LaFleur, our coach, telling us the fans to fuck off if we're yelling at the product, or we don't like it, or it needs to be fixed or changed, or this isn't working and this is not what we want to spend our money on. And the management tells us to fuck off. Helmsley, man. Helmsley. Showing his true colors this Mania season. How bad he is at creative, but then how he feels about fans. If this doesn't wake up everybody, it's a lost cause. There's a difference, man. You can't shill for when somebody shows you their true colors, who and what they are time after time. Eventually, you have to believe them. You have to stop shilling. We're going to talk about it even more, man. I'll give you guys the quote, for instance, and then we'll try to just navigate how this can even happen and how long Hunter can be in this position if he's going to be completely unhinged like this. We'll talk about it. Swig of coffee, we'll jump right into the first story. If you guys are planning on going to Mania, don't worry, don't rush. Plenty of tickets, sadly. Check this out. As it stands of this recording, guys, thousands of tickets remain Saturday, Sunday on Ticketmaster, not third-party sites. Guys, not scalpers. Ticketmaster. Thousands of tickets remain. I want to show you guys just a little bit. For instance, Ringside. You can still go ringside to WrestleMania. And it is going to cost you a second or third mortgage on the house, yes. But believe it or not, this is cutting prices in half, or nearly in half. WWE could not sell these for $9,000 and $10,000. So they cut a lot of these prices in half, guys. I mean, that's how bad it got. But here's the problem. They waited too long. So even cutting the prices in half, nobody is scooping these tickets up. They just cannot sell. So as it stands right now, 24 hours before Mania, you can get really good seats. There is rows or nearly rows. Ringside, you can get a plethora of tickets, guys. And even if you don't want to spend the second or third mortgage, if you want to go up to like mid-stadium, guys, there's full rows still available. Mid-stadium. Still going to cost you a lot. But mid-stadium, there is rows. I'm just showing you guys one sector of the entire stadium. It's like this all around. If you don't even have that in your budget, but you still want to go, upper stadium, also nearly full rows. So you can bring a bunch of friends, bunch of family members, a little tour. There is nearly full rows left, upper stadium as well. Let's go to a different sector like camera side, left corner. Check this out, guys. I really want you to see camera side left corner. Your pick for the entire section, basically. Top to bottom, the whole section has seats that would match whatever you're looking for. And mind you, guys, we're talking 24 hours before the biggest event of WWE's calendar year. If you guys were wondering just how bad this Mania has been booked and the lack of enthusiasm and the price gouging that corporate has done and just the lack of everything, if you guys were wondering, man, this is sad. This is not a pat on the back for channels like this who have been saying from the jump that this Mania season sucks. And the prices are outrageous. This is not a victory lap. This is sad to see, man. You don't want them to tell us business is booming when we know that all the metrics are now going backwards this year, unfortunately. Ratings. Tickets, right? Where's all the sellouts that they were talking about last year? Raw, Smackdown, consistently. You weren't hearing about that. Ticket sales, declining. Ratings, declining. Merchandise, declining. Every metric you can imagine, it is declining. And so they can't really spout business is booming anymore, right? We want to know that it is, though. And we know that when we feel it, when we see it, when we can take part in it. And when you see complete sections that are still empty, it's sad, man. That's not a victory lap. That tells you that there's a lot of wrong in that company right now, a lot of shit that needs to be fixed, and probably telling your audience to fuck off if they're trying to help and tell you that, it's probably not the best thing to do. But this shows you how bad it is. Now, they're going to make it look totally filled. Trust me, on Saturday, Sunday, when Mania goes live, it's going to look completely packed because there's more seats bought than are not. Trust me. And some of these will be scooped up. But so, and they're going to make it look, they're going to pull from other areas and they're going to fill in sections that might be like if you see a whole row, they're going to fill people in there, take from here, put there. It's going to look packed, even if you're there live. Trust me. They're going to make this thing look like it's a sellout, and then they're going to tell you that there's 10 to 15,000 more seats sold than actually was. Right now, there's only 52,000 seats sold. They were hoping for at least 60 up front, and then they were going to tell you that 70 are in the stadium. That's how this goes. That's what they do every year. Now they're struggling to even hit that 60 up front. So this is very sad for World Wrestling Entertainment. And again, when you have the people at the top telling fans that they're not real fans if they don't like what they're seeing, and they can screw off if they don't like it. And when you have other heads like Nick Khan focusing on AEW this week and talking about how Tony Khan can assume that he's going to take more talent from AEW. Why would you tell him that? Why would you focus on AEW during your week? This is your biggest week. And then the shade that was thrown when he said no disrespect to the father that finances it and the owner of the Jaguars, bypassing Tony Khan, not acknowledging him, shading him to the most amplified of levels and degrees. It's not needed now. The focus shouldn't be the headline. Nick Khan and Nick Khan and Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon have gone unraveled this week. And I think because they're hit with the facts that tickets are not selling like they were hoping. The fact that they had to slash prices, they're not happy with that. And then the fact that they can't even sell those tickets, they're not happy. And then to find out that most of your fan base is not excited for this Mania. They're not happy. They're not happy about a lot. And that's why they are lashing out and bashing fans and bashing other promotions. And this is sad. Desperate is not a good look. This is not a good look. And BC and my amplified unit, we were calling this out from the jump. Guys, months ago, we were waving the red flag going, there's a problem. You got to fix it now. Triple H, Hunter, Helmsley, Paul Levesque, McMahon. You got to fix it. They didn't want to. And then he had enough fans that were coddling his balls. Oh, BC, you're just being mean. You're being mean to H. Mean? What does that have to do with it? I don't care what I'm being mean. We need to fix this. It needs to get better. You haven't seen mean yet. Mean? That's me being generous. That's me being nice. You don't want to see me be mean. Fix this shit. And they didn't want to. They didn't want to fix it. And here we are. And this is what we're seeing. So, if you're going to Mania, relax. Don't rush. I gotta get a good seat. It's all there. You're picking the entire stadium. Where would you like to sit? As long as you could put a mortgage on the house, the seat is yours. Let's move on to Randall Orton. Oh, he said something recently, and it gives a little bit of insight on if he is going to be doing anything at Mania. This is what Orton had to say. This is a quote. So Randy Orton says, and I quote, "I'm going to find out on Smackdown Friday." That's tonight, guys, from when you're viewing this. At least I better find out, or Nick Aldis is eating another RKO, which I will gladly pay the fine happily. So a lot of people thought that he was going to have something at Mania. And that was always the case, even when Owens had to drop out. But a lot of us thought it was going to be one of those things where he's in the ring, he's doing something, and all of a sudden somebody comes out, somebody gets hit with an RKO. What Orton is saying is he is finding out tonight. So if that was not the original plan, and he just kind of went off the script and said that, then now they have to change it up. Now they have to announce what Orton is doing or who he's facing. Because he came out and said, I'm finding out on Friday, or Nick Aldis is eating an RKO. That's cut and dry. So we find out tonight, guys. Ain't going to be no mystery this weekend unless they come up with a creative way to kind of have Orton eat those words. So they don't announce it. Somehow Aldis is able to not eat an RKO, and Orton doesn't look like an idiot for saying this. Just saying, because this caught on like wildfire as well, man. A lot of fans going, all right, hey, we're going to find out tonight what Orton is doing. Now, on the flip side, another matchup for Mania, Tiffany Stratton defending her championship against Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlie's been doing the media tour, and Charlie has stated something recently that really fans had to do a double take. And at first I was like, are we making something out of nothing? But when I read it, I was like, nope, this is justified. Fans have a case here, man. It's justified that a lot of fans are going, this is what Charlotte Ashley Flair, she needs to think about her own words. I'll give you the quote and then we'll talk about it. This is, and tell me if this isn't, like think about what I'm telling you guys. This is a quote from Charlotte and see where the issue is. Charlotte Flair says the following. Let me get a swig of coffee first, if you don't mind. Charlotte says, WrestleMania is very important to me. It'll be my 8th title match at Mania. My 8th title match at Mania. I know so many damn amazing females that never even got a title match at Mania. I just wanted to throw that out there. Let's get back to Charlie. It's very important to me, WrestleMania. It'll be my 8th title match at Mania. For me as a performer and what I hold my expectations to be, coming off of my knee surgery, that was mentally hard for me. Only having 2 TV matches. Only having 2 TV matches and going into WrestleMania with an opponent that I have not even touched. I feel the pressure, end quote. There is so much to unpack and unravel with that. First, let me just start with it'll be my 8th title match at Mania. She says it so nonchalant. Like this is so difficult for her. This is number 8. What are you... You don't think it's difficult for the ladies busting their ass every single year just trying to get a title match? They're feeling the pressure because as the days are numbered in their careers, right? They're just getting older and their bodies are breaking down and they know that the chances of getting those big Mania matches, title matches, they're becoming more slimmer than anything. And she expects sympathy. She's talking about the pressure is on. This is my 8th title match at Mania. And then she goes on to say, I hold my expectations high. Coming off of this knee surgery, I've only had 2 TV matches, so I'm feeling the pressure. That's the problem. That's what fans are calling out. Like she's not understanding the problem in her own words. If she just thinks before she's saying this, she would maybe stop and go, oh, maybe that's the disconnect. Maybe that's why fans have had enough. 8 title matches at Mania and there's still no connection. So why we keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? But then the fact that I had a knee surgery, she says this, coming off of knee surgery, missing the entire last year and coming back only having 2 matches on TV, and I'm in this spot. I'm feeling the pressure. Maybe it's because, this is not a hot take, maybe it's because you shouldn't be in the spot. You were gone all of last year. You had knee surgery. You're feeling pressure because you don't even know if you can go 2025. Nobody knows. You've only had 2 TV matches that have gone nowhere close. So why is Charlie in this spot? That's what fans are calling out. Fans are absolutely astonished that she's in this match for no reason. She just came back. Put her in a good storyline, no question. Build her up the right way. There was no reason to bring her back right into a Rumble victory and right into a Mania title match when even she is telling you, I don't even know what to expect. The pressure's on. I've only had 2 matchups on TV since I've been back. And Helmsley's like, oh, it sounds good. Just go win the Rumble, go into the big title match at Mania, take the title. It's fine. Because don't worry, I'm going to go on camera and I'm going to tell everyone to fuck off if they don't like it. I'm going to say you're all just bitching and complaining. You're not even real fans. You celebrate and you cheer for Charlotte Flair, or you're just a fake. You're an AI fan. Sit there in the crowd, go, this is awesome, when we tell you to. AI, this is awesome chants, right? We don't even need fans. Hunter Helmsley loved the Thunderdome because they could just manipulate everything. Everything, they could make you look like you're cheering. They could pipe in the boos or the cheers. Helmsley doesn't even want fans. Charlotte Flair is in this position. Nobody knows why. And when we tried to tell WWE for 10 years that something needs to be fixed here, it's broke. There's no connection. When we try to tell them, they refuse to listen. And now they're just bluntly telling us to fuck off. Well, okay. Keep doing the same thing. Keep getting the same results. And wonder why nobody's showing up to your stupid little shows. Oh, and it goes even deeper. If you're wondering how the talent is feeling about Charlotte Flair, listen to this. This is huge from Chelsea Green, the current United States Women's Champion. This is what Chelsea had to say. And I want to preface this with a report that came out last week. I didn't talk too much about it because I couldn't get it validated. And you guys know I like facts. And if a story has a couple of, validated sources, reputable anyway, then I'll talk about it. I just couldn't validate this. But it was a report on how the women's locker room. Yeah, the rocker room. There you go, BC. The women's locker room is kind of moving on from Charlie. A lot of people are not too fond of Charlotte Flair and especially her booking. And I can see that absolutely. She comes back yet again after spending a whole year off and she just wins the Rumble and gets this big Mania spot. And at what point does it become too much for the ladies? Even the ones that had supported her and maybe even like her. But at what point professionally you're like, this is ridiculous, man? At what point are the Zelina Vegas and the Meachins and all of them just going to be like, enough? Chelsea Green has been putting in some of her best work. She doesn't even have a match, bro. Not even a match. So this report was saying how they're just like kind of fed up with it. They're done. And this is the validation that we now have. This is what Chelsea Green said, kind of out of character, right? I mean, she's telling you she's rooting for the face in this, Tiffany Stratton. But Chelsea Green says the following, and I quote, "I'm rooting for Tiffy. I think she's an amazing champion and will continue to grow and thrive. I hope she retains the title. I think it's going to set the tone for the future of WWE in the women's division if she retains." That's huge, man. That's big time. A character like Chelsea, you would think would, in character, go for Charlotte, obviously. But she's talking about how this is so monumental, the outcome of this, because it's going to set the tone for the future of WWE and especially the women's roster. I mean, her quote, "set the tone for the future of WWE and the women's division if Tiffany retains." Guys, she's talking about setting the tone for going forward for all the ladies. I mean, that is such a big statement, and it comes off the heels of that report last week. I don't even blame them. It's everything we as fans have been calling out. I could just imagine how these ladies feel. Salute to Chelsea for saying that. It was no dig, no shade, obviously, to she may feel that way, actually. This is pretty straight up, right? Kind of out of character. Right? I'm going for Tiffany, and because this is going to set the tone for the future of our division. That's not in character, obviously. That's not. This is like telling you legit Tiffany winning is best for business. So I guess I could see how Charlie would take that as an absolute slight, but I don't think it was that mean at all. It wasn't mean. I don't know. I don't think it was intended to. This is Chelsea giving you her honest take. And a lot of the females feel that way. And the fans have been telling you this. So salute to Chelsea Green, man, for opening up and really just being honest. I think more people do that. We're going to have, there's no I think. If more people are honest in that locker room, we'll get a better product. More people have to be honest with Hunter Hearst Helmsley, for instance. Because the more you blow smoke up his ass just to keep your job, you're still going to lose it. He's still not going to tell you why. How many people are still trying to find out why? From the Baron Corbins to the Sonya Devilles, from the Dijaks to the Cameron Grimes, they still have not found out why. They either have been released or not chosen to be re-signed, and nobody ever told them what was up. The last thing Papa H told him was, "You're doing great." He never even had a moment, text, anything, just to say, "Hey, dude, man, sorry about what happened. Not my call. This is the deal." Nothing. Nothing. More people just be honest. You'll get more respect. But it's speaking of, we have to talk about it. It's unfortunate, but I said a lot about it, I guess, in the cold open, right? At the same time that I was at a loss for words, I had a lot to say as well, I guess. I'm still trying to comprehend it. I have had a few more swigs of coffee, obviously, during the course of this last half an hour. But Hunter Helmsley recently telling fans to fuck off. If you don't like what you're seeing and you're complaining about it, this is his words, you're complaining, bitching, and moaning, you're not real fans. He says the real fans, we're looking at them, they're yeeting, and they're going, for Cody. And they're spending all this money going to the events. Those are the real fans. If you don't like the product and you're telling us that you don't like the product right now and you're trying to tell us what needs to be fixed, if you're giving suggestions, anything like that, you are not a real fan. And he's taking it a step further. His recent quote, he is telling fans to fuck off. He says in a passive-aggressive way, this is a quote, "This will sound defensive. I wish I could tell people to fuck off. Being a critic, just be a fan." If you're critiquing the product, if you're not happy with it, fuck off. I wish I could tell you what the cameras are rolling, so that's his way to tell you to fuck off, right? It's not I wish. He just told you. That's like if you're shooting the shit before the interview, before the cameras are rolling, that's when you tell Peter, I wish I could tell him to fuck off. Okay, I hear you, man. Rolling. Yeah, the fans can be tough, but I totally understand. And you know what? If they didn't like this Mania season, that sucks. But all I gotta say is just wait, because it's gonna get better. And next Mania season, we'll pick it up. If they didn't think this was it, we gonna pick it up. We gonna get amplified, right? That's the answer you would give. We hear you. We hear all you got, man. You didn't feel this was a good enough season, and there's reasons for that, but I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to bitch and complain about it. I'm not going to give you excuses. We're going to do better. No. Instead, he says, on air with the cameras rolling, I wish I could tell them fuck off. You just did. You just did. For being a critic. Just be a fan, he says. And he says, you want to hear how he treats fans like toddlers? And maybe some of them are, the ones that really like coddle his balls, right? You're being mean, Beasley. Right, those are like the toddlers, and then, oh, we lie. Triple H is saving wrestling. Gunther said it once. Well, in that case, this is how much he just like shits on fans. He literally says, go listen to the tone in this. Go watch and be a fan. F off being a critic. Just go watch and be a fan. Go watch and be a fan. Give us your money. Yeet. Who talks like that? Could you imagine, man? In the background, maybe you guys hear it here in the studio. I got my Yankees game on. We just beat the Tampa Bay Rays last night. It's a replay of the game. But they're doing an Aaron Boone interview right now. Ironically. Could you imagine if we lose a few games and the Yankee fans are pissed off like we are? We can absolutely get. Could you imagine Boone going, fuck off. Go be a fan. Stop criticizing us. We know what we got to do. Go over there. Be a fan. What does that mean? Just buy the merchandise? Give us all your money? Shut your mouth when things are bad, and when things are good, I want to hear you cheer. If it's good, flip out. If it's bad, shut your fucking mouth. Booney wouldn't do that. He'd be out of a job. General Manager Cashman out of a job. My Packers head, LaFleur, Gutenkirch, out. Out of a job. Every one of them. If the leader of Coca-Cola, Amazon, anybody was to say that about their consumers, they're most likely das booted. Helmsley is telling fans to fuck off, shoot, go be a fan. Don't worry if it's bad. Just give us your money. I can't comprehend this. I can't. I'm not shocked per se, because I've been telling you guys this is his true colors. This is how he feels about fans. His ego is way too big. Way too big. There's nothing that would bring him back down to reality. Nothing. Helmsley looks down on everybody. He kissed so much ass to get where he is, and he looks down at everybody below. That's his prerogative, man. When he's playing the role of God, I guess he can do that, right? He's playing the role of Vince McMahon. He ain't no Vince McMahon, I assure you. Genius Vince, not the last 10 years. That's a totally different but good thing he's not Vince in that aspect, huh? But the genius Vince, and the one that the Vince that really like put this company on the map to where everybody right now can make money from it like they are. No, he's playing the role of. He doesn't know what to do. He can't do 5% of what Vince used to do. That's why he just spends all his time doing interviews. Instead of getting creative and making the product better, he just cuts interviews telling all of us to shut up. Don't worry that it's bad. Why do you think it's bad? I spend all my time doing interviews instead of doing what I have to do, being creative. So of course it's going to be bad. I don't spend any time in the creative room. I don't spend any time on this shit. I just do interviews, and I do anything and everything but do what people would like me to do, be creative. So of course the whole season sucks. Of course the television product sucks. Of course that's why Raw domestically in the US is going down to a 1.1 rating. Globally, we have lost more than half of what we started with on Netflix at nearly 6.0, and now they're at a 2.8. They're getting lower and lower as they get closer to Mania. Why are fans not tuning in this Mania season? Why can you not sell out your stadium? Why have you not sold out consistently your Raws and Smackdowns leading to WrestleMania? Why is merchandise down 26%? Why? Business is booming. That's the only response we get. Business is booming. No, it's not. Everything's going backwards. In fact, The last quarter, you didn't even record record revenue for the first time in 5 years. You declined in revenue. Don't tell us business is booming just because you quadrupled the prices of your tickets. Because guess what? Now fans are saying we ain't paying it. Now you're slashing prices and you can't even sell out them. Uh-oh. Business is no longer booming. And you think the best response is to tell your fans to fuck off. Cool story, bro. If this dude remains in that position another year, I'd be astonished. The dude is the worst possible candidate for that position. And now he's just unhinged. Now he's just absolutely bashing fans because it got too hot in the kitchen. Too many fans, because he knows if this was just a small portion of fans not happy with Mania season and being vocal, that's one thing. Right? If it was just like BC in the unit, it's like, oh, that's whatever. I mean, that's BC, and we know he's wild, and we know his standard is high. Right? Hunter Hearst Helmsley knows BC in the amplified unit, our standard is high. He knows that, and that's why you don't hear too much. But when the whole community is pissed off, like it's been this Mania season, now he's really feeling the heat. Because now he's seeing the people that would defend him go, dude, this ain't it. You have to do better after Mania and especially next year's Mania season. He doesn't want to hear that. It was totally fine when you were praising everything he was doing, right? You didn't hear a damn peep. Totally fine. But once everybody started going, this sucks, all of a sudden, don't like it, don't watch. You're just complaining. You're not even real. Fuck off. Stop criticizing, just be a fan. Go watch and be a fan. He basically said, shoot, go. He said, quote, go watch and be a fan. And then he's talking about, like, if you were to go to see a movie, would you just watch it? Like, why you got to talk about it afterwards in great detail? That's what you do. That's literally what you do. Are you kidding me? That's what a lot of people depend on. Do I fork over the money to go watch it? Do I waste 2 hours? I want to hear what people are saying. Now, there's preferences, right? You may like a movie that this person doesn't. You can't stand a movie that another person really enjoys. But you want to at least hear up front about it. Like, what are people saying about it, right? You get that by critics. The fuck? Everyone's not just going to go watch it and stay silent afterwards. We're not going to a Yankee game, and if we're losing by 20, just sit there and go, it's okay, Yankees. We love you. We're not going to a Packer game, and if they've lost 4 games out of their last 5, and if they're losing by 35, no, you're probably going to get booed out of Lambeau Field. If my Knicks show up to the playoffs and we can't even win a game, we're showing up to Madison Square Garden and we're booing them out of the Garden. We're booing the shit out of them. And what? Is Thibodeau afterwards going to look at us, the coach, and go, you all can fuck off. How dare you boo us? I've never seen anything like this. This is the first time I can remember somebody in this role of this conglomerate billion-dollar company, one of the heads, telling its consumer to fuck off. That's what I'm leaving it with. I'm trying to comprehend it, guys. I really am trying to comprehend this. Just becoming a bigger schmuck than we ever imagined. Hey, have I told you lately that it's Mania weekend? Let's leave on a high note. Because as I said from the beginning, even though Mania season sucks, Mania itself is going to obviously be good. You'd have to go out of your way to make Mania suck, right? Night 1 and night 2. The boys and gals are going to crush it. You just have to come up with semi-decent finishes. And 2 of them each night, 2 out of the 7 matches each night, have to have a really good finish. So even decent finishes for 5 and a couple of really good and then a couple of surprises each night. And we're going to be talking about how this was a good Mania. But that does not mean that we forget about the journey to get to that destination. This whole season has been really bad. It was the same thing for Elimination Chamber. And all throughout last year, we saw the same thing. This has to stop. You can't just be really good 12 nights out of the year. the TV shows, the journey to get to these events, it has to get better. And perhaps we're all finally coming to the conclusion that I think it needs to be done, and it has to be done with Hunter removed from that position. Be an on-air talent, definitely, because that's what he wants to be anyway. He wants to always be on TV. Be an on-air talent. Give him a raise. Put him in the office, too. Give him a nice office job. But I think we all know now we need somebody who's actually creative to be chief of content and creative and talent. And that is your Amped Up for the 18th of April of the year 2025 as it stands 24 hours from Mania. Guys, the schedule for tomorrow is still up in the air. I'm thinking about doing a little Smackdown live review a half an hour before NXT goes live, East Coast time, 1 p.m. And then maybe I'll stay live for like a half an hour for NXT Stand and Deliver. So we can do that live. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a complete NXT review, but maybe I can be live a little bit so we can do the Smackdown review and NXT Stand and Deliver, at least like a couple of matches, because I really would like to do one of the ladies' matches live. Those are the two matches I'm looking forward to the most. The women's ladder match for the North American title, and then the Fatal 4 for the Stephanie's NXT Women's World title. So hopefully one of those can be called live. That's what I'm thinking. As far as Mania tomorrow night, I'll have more info for you on what I'm going to do for Mania in tomorrow's Amped Up. When we go over SmackDown, NXT Stand, I will have absolutely something for you guys tomorrow morning. And it could even be live, and that's when I'm going to finalize my plans for Mania. So in other words, subscribe, notified, all those, press all the bells down below, all that good stuff. Because tomorrow morning is going to be an important upload. It's going to have all the info for Mania. All right, until next time, and there will be that next time. It's Mania weekend. And if you don't like that, fuck off. 44 dive. That's a wrap, guys. BC in the unit saying check you. Salute.